After a week off, the Coach's Corner is back and better than ever. Thank you for joining us. We are here at the Tivoli Tap House where you can find great food as well as great beer. I'm Tony Almanza, and alongside me is Connor Dockery. Connor, so how did the volleyball team do this weekend?
Well, they had a heartbreaking, hard-fought loss against Colorado School Mines on Friday, but they bounced right back and got a big win against the UCCS on Saturday. So overall, pretty good weekend for them after that win.
Nice. Well, hopefully they keep winning, tomorrow against Regis.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so who do we have on the show today?
So first in the batting lineup for tonight is softball coach Annie Van Wetzinga. She will tell us about how the girls are doing, how they're looking in this fall season. Also, we're going to be doubling down on some volleyball action. First, we got head coach Jenny Glenn. She's going to give us her thoughts on this past weekend, and we're also going to have middle blocker Stephanie Laraway, senior for the Roadrunners, who's having a great 2018 campaign.
Well, I can't wait to talk with Coach Annie about softball, but before we do that, we want to give you a recap of what happened this past weekend in Roadrunner sports. We'll start off with our volleyball team, who had two tough opponents at home this weekend. The first took on 21st ranked Colorado School of Mines, and it was the Roadrunners who took the first set thanks to Santasia Sturgis, who piled up 5 kills in the first frame. But the Ore Diggers would regroup and take the next 3 sets to take the 3-1 victory. The following night didn't get much easier as UCS Colorado Springs came to the Auraria Event Center. The Mountain Lions would put the pressure on MSU Denver by taking the first set 28-26, but the hometown team gathered their focus and reeled off the next 3 sets to take the match. MSU Denver is now 11-3 in conference play with a game Tuesday night against Regis University.
The women's soccer team had just 1 game on the weekend as they welcomed in 17th ranked UC Colorado Springs. It was senior day for 4 amazing Roadrunners. The team celebrated Regan Stabe, Emily Romer, Ariana Flores, and Raina Banks. But today would not be the Roadrunners' day as the Mountain Lions put up 3 goals in the 3-0 victory. Coach Tracy Chow's team is now 7-4 in RMAC play and will play 1 more weekend of games before the start of the RMAC tournament.
The men's soccer team had the tough task of taking on 7-1-2 Regis on their home pitch on Friday, but it was the Roadrunners who came ready to play, netting 5 goals in the 5-0 win. Freshman phenom Jaime Gutierrez recorded his first collegiate hat trick and now has 7 goals on the season. After a tough 2-0 loss to UCCS on the road, MSU Denver is now 7-5 in conference play and will look to finish strong in their last regular season weekend.
And finally, the golf team competed in the Division II National Championship Preview in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. The team finished 12th overall and got solid performances from Jennifer Hankins, who finished 20 over 166 for the 2-day event. Teammate Kika Dozen also reached 20 over for the tournament. That wraps up the fall season for the golf squad and will now prepare for the spring season, which begins in March. So a shout out to Coach Stephanie Ferguson on a job well done this fall.
So now we bring in our favorite softball head coach, Annie Van Wetzinga. Coach, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me, you guys.
Yeah. So Eric was telling us about how you are the fantasy football queen.
Yeah.
And he was saying that maybe you could give up your coaching job but do fantasy football for a full-time job. Is that true?
I probably could. I am really good at it. I'm on track to score 180 points this weekend. And
nice.
I just figure if you're going to do something, you do it all in. You know what I mean?
That's true, yes.
Competition doesn't shut off.
That's true. Well, my team is actually 1-5 this year, so maybe next year you could give me some advice on who to draft. Will that be cool?
Yeah, you need some advice.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you.
So just by looking at your roster, there are a lot of new faces on the squad this year. Does that make you nervous as a head coach, or does it kind of energize you with so many new players to mold?
Yeah, no, it definitely energizes, exciting. You know, we have 20 girls on the team right now, and 10 are new, 8 freshmen and 2 sophomore transfers. And no, it's super exciting. They brought a lot of energy with them and kind of have really thrown themselves into the team, into the culture, and things are going really well. So it's definitely exciting.
Tell us what is the first thing you tell the newbies about Roadrunners softball, and does that start when you're out there recruiting them, or is it when they're first instilled in the first practice or meetings?
I think it's a whole process, but it definitely starts when you're recruiting them. You try as much as you can to try and get individuals that really want to be here, are a good fit both on and off the field, and will come in and obviously help improve. You always want to try and recruit and go to a new level, but also though they'll bring in and make the culture, help make the culture better too. They want to come in and have their piece of the pie of what's going on here, and this group's doing a really good job of it. Like I said, they're fun, they're outgoing. They've done a good job of just kind of throwing themselves in there and working hard, and so that's kind of how we handle it. It starts the recruiting process, first meeting of the year, and we really try to keep a consistent message all the way through.
So moving along just with those new faces on this team, are you looking to make any changes in the way that you run this team this season? Is it about installing what you envision with the talent, or is it about adjusting the game plan according to the talent that you have?
I think I am who I am, and we're who we are as Roadrunner softball, and so there's not going to be major overhauls. But with that said, I think our biggest asset right now is that we have a lot of depth. We have a lot of girls that can play, and so it gives us a lot of options. And so, us as coaching staff, we've already been talking about how, we could have a lot of different looks and combinations out there until maybe we settle on one consistent lineup, which is exciting to us. And even with the pitching staff, we have 5, and there are 5 solid options. They've all done some good things in the fall season, and so we're excited to see how we can use them and really have a pitching staff.
So who are you looking at to be your leaders for the fall and spring seasons?
Well, that's interesting you ask, because in the past we've always kind of had captains, whether it's voted on or kind of coaches appointed, but as good as that's been at times in the past, we've really want to get better there at overall leadership, and we're really preaching this year that everybody can be a leader. Whether you're 18 or 22, we want everybody to feel like they have a piece of the pie and they're important, and their voice can be heard, and they can, the first thing you have to lead themselves. So we're kind of moving away from captains, and everybody needs to have that accountability and hold each other accountable. So it's actually really exciting because everybody, I feel like they're stepping on the shell more. And nobody's sitting back and saying, well, that's not my job. It's not my job. That's that small group of people's job. Everybody can step up and do the right thing or say the right thing and work hard. So that's actually one of the most exciting things we have going on right now.
So we saw on Twitter that you came into work one day and you walked into your office only to find a room full of balloons.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction to that? And are you afraid of balloons? Because that would just be mean in that case.
No, I'm not afraid of balloons. I'm afraid of attention and everybody staring at me and things like that. So what was my first reaction that I can say on the radio show? Oh, crap. That was like awesome. And then I definitely laughed. So it was good. And I had a very strong idea who was responsible for it.
Well, because that also at one time happened to Eric as well. So he shares
all the cool
similar
people.
Feelings.
It happens to cool people, right? No, it was a really good joke. I appreciate a good joke and people with good personalities like that. So Ashley Kim, Allie Richter, and Jasmine Wessel. I know it was them. And there's always karma out there. Yeah.
So your program had its alumni weekend earlier this month. Tell us how that went and how strong your relationship is with the former players.
Yeah, no, it was a great event. It always is. Always a lot of energy. We have a good connection. I think we had about 18 to 20 show up, and a ton of their family and friends. So overall, there's like 60 people there, which was great. We have a good time. We've kind of evolved a little bit, and we do a slow pitch game with current team and alumni. Always lots of laughs and always quite the entertaining evening. But it's really cool because obviously as you coach at one place longer, you get more and more alums, and it's been really rewarding and cool to watch them obviously you watch them grow when they're here, but even like grow into life, as some having babies or pregnant, and just to kind of see how they've taken some of their experiences here and incorporating that into life and being able to reconnect with them is really cool that way.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for coming on the show and keep kicking Eric's butt in fantasy football this season.
That's the plan. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll be taking our first break. Don't go anywhere. It's that time again where we bring you the tweet of the week. It comes from our women's soccer team who celebrated their senior day this past Sunday. 4 Roadrunners played their last regular season games at the Regency Athletic Complex. Raina Banks, Emily Romer, Ariana Flores, and Reagan Stabe have all been important parts to the success of this women's soccer program, and we wish them the best once they graduate from MSU Denver. Until then, those girls have more work to do with the playoffs right around the corner. We got to take that break now, but stay tuned. We'll see if Jenny Glenn can answer this week's trivia question. We're coming right back on the Coach's Corner.
I'm Fantasia Sturgis, a senior outside hitter for the volleyball team.
Roadrunners advantage here. And Sturgis, the All-American, pounding one through there.
And you're watching Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back. Before we try to stump Coach Glenn on that volleyball trivia question, we want to tell you about a great event that's happening right here at the Tivoli Tap House. They are celebrating their 2nd year of the annual Fallen Hero Red All Ale release. It's a delicious brew that the Tap House develops, and when you pre-purchase cases through the Colorado Fallen Hero website or pick some up right here at the Tivoli Tap House on October 27, all the proceeds go directly to the Fallen Hero Foundation. So get your hands on some delicious Fallen Hero Red All Ale and help support an incredible foundation that assists families who have lost a loved one in the line of duty. That website is cofallenhero.org. It's only for a limited time, so get those cases now. So now we welcome in head coach of the volleyball team, Jenny Glenn. Coach, thanks so much for being here again.
Back again.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's get into some stuff from this past weekend. Let's first talk about your relationship you have with Gold Crown. You had some of those kids in attendance for Friday night's match. Tell us what Gold Crown is and how you and the team interact with them.
Yeah, that's been a great relationship that we've built over the past couple years. Gold Crown is a nonprofit youth sports just down the road, I think in Lakewood. So, you know, we have a great partnership with them. We run some camps for them in the summer, and they allow us to use our facility when we can't get into ours. And they're just great people over there, and I think we all have the same mission at the end of the day. So it's been really fun, that relationship. But we had anyone that was in a Gold Crown League, feeder league for volleyball, was able to come to the match for free the other night. So we were excited to get some young ones in the stands.
You took on the top team in RMAC on Friday night in the Colorado School of Mines. You took the first set 25-23. What was working well for your squad in the first set that allowed you guys to take that jump on the Ore Diggers?
Well, kind of our normal story, serving really well and following the scouting report. And I think we were really aggressive in that first set, which allowed us to find success. You know, in the second set, you know, volleyball is a weird sport in that as teams serve you more aggressive, you usually get more passive with them. So I felt like Colorado School of Mines came out in that second set and served us really tough, and we backed down from the service line. So again, that puts them in system and us out of system, and that's never going to be a good night against them. I thought they played extremely well against us. They're very a team that can really make you be uncomfortable, and I think we saw that in the last 3 sets. So, you know, I think there was a lot we did well in that match. We out-defended them as a whole, numbers-wise, and still lost the match. And, you know, from an offensive standpoint, wasn't that far off either. So we really need to evaluate where that is falling short and make adjustments, and hopefully we get another shot at them later in the season.
So the following night was family night as you celebrated those who allowed their daughters to live as a student athlete with MSU Denver. How vital are they to the success and volleyball's program?
Yeah, and they're extension of our immediate Roadrunner family. You know, the support that we have from the parents and the siblings and the aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas it extends far beyond just our athletes. So it was great night. I thought we had a lot of family in attendance, which was really fun. Even the out-of-staters had people representing them and family. So I think anytime we can get them in the gym with us and have that extended support, it's pretty awesome. So it was a great night.
So, you know, a big thing in sports is responding when you run into adversity, you know, how you adjust. Coming off that tough Mines loss, how did you feel your team played the following night against UCCS? While it was a slow start, the team shrugged it off and came back in convincing fashion in those final 3 sets.
Yeah, we did have a little bit of a hangover, I think, in that first set. We didn't start very strong. It was a tough night the night before, and I felt that. I think we all felt that the next morning. So, you know, it took us some time to kind of get our bearings about us again, but I'm pleased with the way that we responded and won in convincing fashion those last 3 sets. Thought we served very aggressive. You'll see a trend in a lot of my comments. The serve and pass game is really what it boils down to. So we were able to be really aggressive, and even with more changes in our lineup, and just battle through. So, I mean, that's a good team that we were able to get it done in 4.
So one thing that stood out this weekend was your team's performance at the net. Double digits in blocks on both nights. What was working so well, and are you where you want to be in that category at this point of the season?
Yeah, that's a funny question. We have a kind of a grow the pile thing that we do, and after Monday practices, we usually say, okay, where's our strengths? What have we added to our pile? And blocking was tabled today. We think we're on our way to being a great blocking team. We have the tools to be a great blocking team. We're making great strides in that area, especially after this weekend, the numbers that we were able to put up. But, you know, out-blocking both teams. But we don't feel like we're quite as good as we can be yet in that area. So we're still striving. But I do think it's going to help us be really good at the end of the year.
And, you know, speaking of blocking, one player who's been consistent force on that aspect all season is Stephanie Laraway. We'll have her on the show a little later, but talk to us about Stephanie and how her senior season with the team has gone.
Yeah, Stephanie has just grown tremendously in her time here. You know, she was a freshman when I got here, and now as a senior, just her knowledge of the game. We have 2 really experienced middle blockers that we can scheme a lot with and do different things, and they understand the game at a high level. So it's just awesome as a coach to know that you can do those things with an experienced player. And Steph is one of the hardest workers I've probably ever coached. And, you know, just to see her, she used to be only able to hit behind the setter, and to develop, you know, more in front of the setter. She's just really developed her game in a lot of ways, so it's been great.
So a quick turnaround for your squad. You take on Regis Tuesday at their gym. This is the second chance for your squad after having lost earlier this season. What's it going to take for your team to get that revenge against Regis?
We just got to get after it. You know, I don't think I ever have to pump this team up to play Regis. It is a rivalry school. You know, even in practice day, we had a great day in practice. I can tell they're excited. They've scouted themselves as well as us scouting them. And so, you know, this team is very motivated on their own to go and beat Regis tomorrow.
Nice. All right, Coach. Well, it's time to see if you could take the lead in the trivia question.
Studied.
Yeah.
Shoot.
So you haven't been studying then?
No. I've been scouting and trying to win volleyball
okay.
matches. Okay, but I'll be.
Well, right now it's Coach Glenn and Tittle that are tied for first, so you can take the lead today. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So here's our multiple choice question. So, who is the program's all-time leader in assists? Is it A, Brandy Torr? Is it B, Gabrielle Curtis? Or is it C, Devin Herron?
Even though I coached Brandy Torr, and I would love it to be Brandy Torr, I think it was C.
Ding, 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 correct.
Am I right?
You
correct.
Got it.
Yes. So now you have the lead.
So do I have the lead now?
You have the lead now, yeah.
Lead. 2-1 now.
Okay.
Except.
Do I get a bonus?
You do get a bonus question. How many assists did she have in her Roadrunner career?
Oh, I have no idea. I should have a ballpark guess on this, and I don't. So I'm going to go with 4,836. Not even
little
close.
far. The correct answer is 6,286 assists.
Did I say 86? I think I got the 86.
You got close, but you were running like 4,000.
I know, but the last two, that's pretty good. That's harder to get than the first two.
On point number.
That's true. Yeah, well, at least you have the lead now, so that's good.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah, well, Coach, thanks so much for coming on the show, and great luck to you against Regis.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So we'll be taking one last break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to talk more volleyball with senior middle blocker Stephanie Laraway up next on the Coach's Corner.
It's not about where you were born. It's not about your gender or the color of your skin, or whether you're rich, poor, or in the middle. No matter what you play, if you have the skill and drive to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
We are student athletes from the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference.
Let's get real about mental health.
1 in 4 of us are currently living with a mental illness.
Let's have an honest conversation about mental health.
1 in 2 of us
will have a mental health issue during our lifetime.
Most of those who can get help improve their quality of life.
You can help stamp out the stigma
associated with seeking help.
Take the pledge at Stamp Out Stigma.
I'm Stephanie Laraway, senior middle blocker.
And the blocks, Stephanie Laraway, the leader on this team in blocks, coming up big.
You're watching Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back to the show. Before we chat with Stephanie, we want to make sure that you're checking us out on Twitter. We are at MSU Denver Sports, and you can keep up with all our Roadrunner sports all season long, from highlights to interviews to schedules to special events and more. That's at MSU Denver Sports. So now we welcome in senior middle blocker from the volleyball team, Stephanie Laraway. Stephanie, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so are you big on social media? Are you out there, seeing your stuff on Twitter, your highlights, your interviews? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's definitely cool, to see the compiled highlights and stuff, and just to see those special moments, and you guys capture those and compile them. It's really cool.
So you've played your entire collegiate career here with the Roadrunners. Sure. You'll have senior weekend upcoming in a few weeks. So tell us about how your time at MSU Denver has been, and how has it meant to you?
Man, that's a big question. I mean, it's meant a lot. It's been a large span of time, and I've met a lot of really great girls. And it's bittersweet, and I can't quite put it into words what it's meant to me, but it's been incredible so far. And just what I've learned, how I've evolved as a person, and how volleyball has shaped that has been huge for me.
So how has the senior season gone for you? The team is having another successful season in the RMAC. How are you feeling about your final season?
I mean, it's tough, this is my final season, but I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else except this group of girls. I think this group of girls, Team 50, there's something special about it. I've been a part of, a lot of teams in the past, and I've loved them all. But something about this group of girls, I want to do it with them my senior year,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So talk about some of the other seniors on the team, and Taylor Duryea and Santasia Sturgis, and what they have meant to this program.
I think those two especially, you just think raw talent. Both of them are very, very talented players, have a lot of IQ, have time in the game, and know what they're doing, and are exceptional leaders on the court. And so being able to play beside them is just honestly an honor for me.
So the last time you were on the show, you told us that you were hoping to do something in nonprofit with your business management degree. Is that still the case? And have you had any internships or community service to give you that idea on what you want to do?
I'm still kind of looking into that. I want to do something with nonprofit ideally. I'm kind of looking into internships now, and I'm hopefully doing something with the environment too as well. I'm still kind of in that research phase where I'm trying to find a company that fits for me. But yeah, ideally that's what I want to do, something in that sector.
Oh, cool. So would you want to do that here in Denver, or is there somewhere else you would want to do that?
I mean, I love Denver. To do it in Denver, that would be ideal. I love it here, and I'd love to stay here for sure.
So, when are you set to graduate, and do you know when you'll be walking?
Yes, I'll be walking May 17th.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, I'll
so
be graduating
you ready then?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this past weekend, your team's performance at the net was outstanding. Double digits in blocks on both nights. You are a big reason behind that. What is more exciting of a play to you, slamming home a kill or getting a big block on an attacker?
Honestly, I think it's a block. Like, there's something about a block, like, I don't know, man. Just gets my blood pumping, you know?
So speaking of blocks, you and Alyssa are neck to neck in that category this season. She got 74, you got 70. Is it a healthy competition between the two of you, or is it just something, or you guys don't even keep track of that?
We don't even keep track, to be honest. Like, me and Alyssa, like, we've grown together a lot, like, in our position, and the fact that we can both be upperclassmen and, like, be in that position, like, honestly, like, I love Liz. She's my girl. But we're always supporting each other and challenging each other and want to make each other better. So, yeah.
So you have a quick turnaround after playing on Saturday. Now you have to take on Regis on Tuesday night at their house. Coach is telling us that this is the second chance for you guys since they took the first matchup against you this season. What's the mentality for the squad heading into this game?
I think just attack, you know, go out, play our game, and, you know, it's going to be a battle, but we're all excited to play. I think we're ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on the show, and great luck to you Tuesday.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
One more thing. Eric said if you guys beat Regis, you can get all the grapes you can eat.
All the grapes?
Yeah, all the grapes you can eat.
The grapes! Okay, okay, I'll keep that in mind.
So before we wrap up today's show, we want to tell you what there is to come in Road Runner Sports. Stephanie and her volleyball team will have 3 games this week. First, they'll head to Regis, take on those pesky Rangers. It's a big 4 regional rankings. So a huge game on Tuesday night starting at 7 p.m. Then they'll continue the road trip to South Dakota for battles against Black Hill State and South Dakota Mines. So make sure you come on out to Regis, which is just 5 minutes from this campus. Wear that red and blue and cheer Stephanie and the rest of her Roadrunner volleyball team.
The soccer teams have one more weekend before the start of the RMAC tournament. The women's soccer team will be on the road for their final conference weekend. They'll first head to Regis on Thursday at 1 o'clock to fight with the Rangers on their home pitch. Then it's on to Spearfish, South Dakota to face off with the Yellow Jackets of Black Hill State on Saturday afternoon. The men will finish out their regular season schedule against Colorado Christian on Thursday afternoon at 1:30 before hosting their senior day on Saturday morning at 11. They'll welcome in Westminster College, and Roadrunners TV will be there to capture all the action in case you can't make it out to the Regency Athletic Complex.
So that's going to do it for this week's show. We want to thank Coach Van Wetzinga, Coach Glenn, and of course Stephanie for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. For Connor Dockery, I'm Tony Almanza. We'll see you next time on The Coach's Corner.